his dreams. He can dream up the score of a football match. He could even know exactly which player had scored when he told his dad. Will thought it was ridiculous, but his dad told him, "Don't let fear stop you from dreaming." So his dad took him to the pub, and to the amazement of everyone, he gave him $100 to buy Liverpool 1-0 against Chelsea. Everyone doesn't pick Liverpool. The odds on Liverpool to win were 11 times higher, but when the game ended the next day, Liverpool had won by 1 goal. It was actually the first time Will had seen his dad. His mom died 3 years ago and his dad was working in Liverpool, far away. For 3 years he had been living in an orphanage. Dad sent some Liverpool posters. It became the only spiritual link between them. So this child in the far south of England, but he became a Liverpool fan. Finally his dad saved up enough money to buy a small house. Immediately, he came to the orphanage to take Will to settle in Liverpool. When they first met, Will looked at his dad in disbelief. They hadn't seen each other for 3 years and they were as close as ever. He came into Will's room. He saw his son's notebook full of pictures of himself and his son watching Liverpool games together. Maybe that was the best thing his son could have thought of. Dad's eyes were moistened to keep the tears from falling. He tells Will about the history of Liverpool, but his son knew more than he did.
172 goals for 3 European Cups, 6 league championships, 2 FA Cups, 4 league cups, 1 double, 1 treble.
But Will still looked at his dad with admiration. Every child has a hero in their heart, and that's his all-powerful dad. As he talked, he got choked up. He couldn't be there for his son after his wife died, and the scarves and posters he gave his son, it didn't make up for the 3 years they'd lost. Will saw his dad's guilt and rushed forward to comfort him. Afterwards, his dad played football with him. Together they went to his mother's favorite place before she died. They sang childish nursery rhymes in the trees. Dad knew his son had been looking forward to go to a Liverpool game with him, so he took most of his savings. He bought 2 tickets for the Champions League final between Liverpool and AC Milan. The $1,100 he had earned from his Liverpool win, just enough to fund their trip. Will was happy in his dad's arms, singing the Liverpool song, Never Walk Alone. But what Will didn't know was that this would be the last time he would see his dad. The next day all the children in the orphanage had gone. Will was left alone, waiting in agony. Then a car arrived. But it wasn't with Dad. It was Dad's best friend, the barman. He brings the news that Dad has died of a heart attack. Will can't believe that his dad, whom he had just met yesterday, today, he's gone. Now he is truly an orphan. The owner gave Will his dad's belongings, a wallet, a painting, and 2 tickets to the Champions League final. Their dream together. He asked sadly if he could take him to the final, but the boss was busy that day. Adam confiscated Will's tickets to prevent him from sneaking away, and said if he could find someone to take him to the game, he would give them back to him. He went back to his room and tore down all the pictures and posters. He couldn't control his emotions anymore. Dad had said we'd never be apart again. He'd said we'd go to the game together, but he broke his promise. His best friend saw how sad he was and made him an escape plan. His classmates helped him find a route from England to Istanbul, the capital of Turkey, and Fatty helped him find the tickets that Adam had hidden. When he found the tickets, Fatty held them enviously. Will wanted him to go to the game with him, but Fatty shook his head. He said he would stay here and buy him some time. He ran to the hotel owner's house to get the $1,100, but the owner could see that Will was sneaking away, so he calls Adam quietly. That's when the waiter brought in the bar's takings for the day. The clever Will took the $1,100 that was his, sneaking into the cruise ship's warehouse in the dead of night, and followed the cruise ship for a walk under the stars. I don't know how long it's been. A bright light woke Will from his sleep. Now he's in France. Walked into the mall just in time to see a kindly Chinese couple helping him get on a delivery truck to Paris. Jack, the driver, warned him to be careful when he got off, but Will didn't care. He hadn't eaten all day. He wanted to buy a food item to fill his stomach, but he didn't know that people are dangerous. The punk next to him sees it and has bad intentions. Before Will could take a bite of his pancake, the punk took it away from him. Scrawny Will chased the punk to a deserted river. He pleaded with the punk to take the money, but to give back his wallet. But he had clearly overestimated the quality of the punks. They took out the money and stuffed it in their pockets. They looked at Will with mockery on their faces, throwing the wallet into the river next to him. They laughed and walked away. Will stood by the river in despair. His father's few belongings were gone. Hungry, Will sat helplessly in his chair, just in time for Tom to see him. Tom was a friend of the driver's. He thought Will was a relative of Jack the driver, so he took him to Adam's house. Jack, though he felt helpless, he had prepared a nice turkey dinner for him. The two of them watched and chatted happily about their favorite teams. But the next day Jack took a look at the tickets. Seems to have spotted something. He asked where Will's dad was, but no matter what he asked, Will kept his head down and didn't say anything. Jack took the tickets and had them checked by a professional. It turned out Will's dad had bought a fake ticket, but when Will saw it, he thought Jack was selling the tickets. So he grabbed the tickets and started to run. But then a van appeared around the corner. Was so close to being hit by a car. Will, who knew the truth, said,
The world's a pack of fakes and lies. And real. I'd still give it to you. I don't have a real ticket.
Jack, who was about to send Will back to England, showed a handsome smile. Now he's made up his mind to send the boy to Istanbul. The owner was delighted to learn of Jack's decision. Not only did he give them $9,000, and he took out his car, which he had kept for years. On the way they came across a bus of Liverpool fans. They greeted him warmly. "If you like Liverpool, then we're family." At the rest stop they just happened to bump into each other again. Will's knowledge of Liverpool's history surprised all the Liverpool fans. It was as if they were schoolboys in front of Will. The enthusiastic fans asked Will to explain to them what he knew, and made him Liverpool's #1 fan. At night they looked up at the stars from their car, through city after city by day. Finally they arrived at the Champions League final in Istanbul. Just when they were worried about where to buy tickets, I saw a man selling tickets. But a ticket costs $12,000 and Jack only has $9,000. That's when the fans recognized Will, their #1 Liverpool fan. The fans were handing over the money they had to Jack, but the man only had one ticket. Will said, "We agreed to go together, and if you don't go in then I won't go in either." That's when a man in the ground recognized him.
Out of time, I really thought you were on my side, and now there's nobody by my side.
This man was the immortal king of Liverpool, Kenny Dalglish. It turned out that Adams called to the police plus the newspaper reports. Everyone knew that a young child under the age of 10 had traveled alone through 7 countries to Turkey to watch Liverpool's Champions League final. Dalglish took them to the infield and told Will, "You're going to lead the line as the #1 fan." Will wanders towards the stadium as if in a dream. Slowly moving forward he saw Carragher's encouragement, the encouraging gaze of Captain Steven Gerrard. At the sound of the fans cheering, he saw his father waiting for him, telling him not to be afraid and to keep running after his dream. He ran towards the center of the pitch with his arms in the air. Then he opened his arms wide and listened to the Liverpool anthem "Never Go Alone." This night is known as the Night of Istanbul, one of the greatest miracles in the history of football. Although Liverpool conceded 3 goals in the first half, but in the second half, with Captain Steven Gerrard leading the way, 3 goals in a row to level the score, and a stunning 3-2 comeback on penalties. 5th Champions League title in the history of the club.